Welcome to the Human Being Unleashed podcast, where we redefine, realign, and reimagine what it means to be human so that you can live a life with the health, wealth, and relationships that are inherently yours. Yo. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode. So today I wrapped up an amazing interview with this woman that has really been a strong influence on my life from the moment I met her. The moment I met her, it was very random. I guess we can say random. I think we actually dive into it here and how we first met. And basically, she was in Austin one day, and it was during a mastermind, and I was hanging out at my friend Scott's house, and our mentor was like, hey, anybody in Austin want to hang out with Yahli? She's one of our students, and she wants to tune in to the mastermind with some of you guys here. And I was like, hey, Scott, why don't we invite this Yahli chick, man? Check her out. She's awesome. I looked at her Facebook page, and I was like, oh, she's woo-woo, too. We totally got to hang out with her. And the stories I've heard this woman share, I mean, you guys are only going to hear like 0.001% of the amount of amazing stories this woman has. And she's going to dive into some of the very mind-boggling stories here today. But I love the way she's about to rip apart this thing called law of attraction and really bring an entire new perspective on it. And you guys already know my perspective on it. If you don't, there is a episode somewhere down below that says the lie of attraction, not law, the lie. So I have my own perspective on it. However, this one was just very fresh and very nice. And I feel like it's a big missing link today when it comes to this whole manifestation talk. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to just let Yahli take it away. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Well, who am I kidding? It's Yahli and me. So of course he will. Real quick, if I sound a little stuffy right now, your boy just bounced back from COVID. But let me tell you something about COVID. It didn't kill me, but it do got some hands, okay? COVID do have some hands. All right, enough of that. Let's go. Oh, wow. We have 7 people on the live. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Drop a hashtag live if you're watching live. Go ahead and drop any questions for this amazing woman as we dive into it. So Yahli, if you can go ahead and just let us know the kind of work you're doing in the world today. And I know this is like a really loaded question, but how exactly did that even happen? So take it away.
That is a loaded question. Yeah. So first of all, hey, Adrian's people, if you're Adrian's people, you're amazing. You're my people too. I'm all about manifestation. And to me, the law of attraction is real, as real as the law of gravity. I expect it to happen in life. And so I just want to say, if you're here and something attracted you, there's probably a reason you're here. And I love inviting people to listen from their life, something important to them. So I just want to invite you, if you're here and you've already been attracted to kind of hopping on, there's probably something here for you. And there's a reason why you got magnetized. And there's definitely a reason why you're magnetized to this man over here. I'm not surprised because you make wonders too. To answer your question, today, I'm considered a manifestation mentor. I'm an entrepreneur at heart and have been in entrepreneurship since 2012. So quite a long time, as well as coaching in the personal development industry since then as well. Which means I've got, some experience under my belt.
I was about to say, you've been coaching before coaching was cool. I feel like, before it became like a trend to be a coach, right?
Yeah. So I remember pitching my first SaaS startup, which was all around coaching. And I was walking around and telling people about the coaching industry and how it was going to grow and become big. And people looked at me really weird. They're like, what are you talking about? So, so back in that day, And I'm mostly known for having created a community in my previous business that grew to 20,000 people. I sold hundreds of online programs, live events. I went on a world tour in 2015, an American tour in 2016. And I've gotten to work and partner with some of my favorite mentors in the industry. I can name drop a few, like Hal
Yes, yes.
Elrod, the writer of the creator of The Miracle Morning, if you guys are familiar. Tony Robbins' son, Jarek Robbins, who's impacted so many thousands of people, Sean Stevenson, and many other people that I know, love, and trust, and also amazing people in the entrepreneurship space that are really well known. And I've really gotten to make a lot of my own dreams happen and other people's. And that kind of emerged through a series of manifestations in my life. And as I was doing that, and I was witnessing people's reactions to me or my life or my work, I realized that, people were most drawn to my ability to manifest, to really bring thoughts into things, ideas into reality, to dream really big, to have things almost kind of magically appear in my life. And I was looking back at that, and I realized that growing up, I always thought it was just this kind of, I don't know, skill I had. I don't know. Maybe I had magic powers. People would be like, how does this always happen to Yahli? And so I thought it was just me. But then I got exposed to more and more work in this space, namely, if you look at, I don't know how much you guys are exposed to specifically like manifestation work. To me, I just want to emphasize a manifestation to me is not just like woo woo.
Yes. Okay. Dive into that. What is it to you?
Okay. Okay. So I want to emphasize this because it's become almost a buzzword, right? Manifestation.
Yes, yeah.
Some people are like, okay, not for me. We're entrepreneurs here. And I want to pause you for a second and say, look, I love spirituality and it's a part of my life. And yet I like being the bridge between that 5D woo-woo world of magical, unexplainable things and meditation and visualization, all those things that we can't necessarily explain how they work, even though there is a lot to back it up these days. And so the bridge between that and this, live 3D world we live in, embodiment, integrity, our body, our mind, and who we walk as, who we're being in the day to day, what we're doing and our actions. And I believe they have to line up. So to me, being a manifester means creating your own reality, taking the responsibility to create your experience while believing that you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's taking the responsibility to create your experience while believing you can.
Yes. So let's look at what that can be. So there could be several ways to create your own life, your own experience, right? Mm-hmm. One is to understand that how you interpret reality also creates your experience of reality. So if things are the way they are, but your perception changes, your experience changes. That's one way to create your reality, is change your perception.
Okay. So for clarification, it's not about, like you said, like the external events can be the exact same, but
yes, that's
changing your perspective on it will immediately shift your experience. So that's one way.
Yeah, that's one way to not have to even change anything, but firstly change your perception of things and your interpretation of them. The way you listen to them is how I like to call it. And your reality changes. And consequently, suddenly things actually shift in reality. So that is something that occurs. That's one way to manifest. Another way is what you guys are seeing more is getting more popularized. And what I love is, mentors like Bob Proctor or Abraham Hicks, for you guys who know, like they really believe in turning thoughts into things, visualizing, meditating. Mm-hmm. But then you take someone like Joe Dispenza, and he brings in a whole scientifical aspect to that. Another layer that also says, hey, look, if you want to get clear on why meditating works, why dreaming and visualizing works, here's the data to back it up. And it becomes a lot more interesting to see. And a clear example that we see often in the entrepreneurship scene or in the just more common, more mainstream media is how athletes, for example, right, in order to succeed when they're training for the Olympics or for a certain game, are told and taught to visualize themselves in that scenario. And again, it's been more commonly known that our mind can't tell the difference between what it is that you're visualizing and what's happening in current reality. So you can practice your way into a specific reality and then make it happen a lot faster. So that's the second way that you could do it, is visualization, meditation, certain practices that allow yourself to rewire you. And by the way, Adrienne, I'm just assuming maybe hypnosis is a part of that. I'm not
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I mean,
So,
it's basically changing perspectives, right? That's literally what I do. It's like, I just change someone's self-image. And then that is the number one thing that we talked about earlier, is changing the perspective on themselves. And then it's like all of your behaviors have to be in direct congruency with your self-concept, right? So that's that's basically what I do. And I guess it's a form of this. Yeah. It's really cool.
Exactly. It's a form of that. And so you kind of learn the depth of it. And the more you understand how it works, the more you believe in it. And that's a huge part of manifesting the reality that you want and having that experience is belief. So part of what you experienced on our last call that you mentioned in the beginning of this, where you said, okay, one of the pivotal things for me was that I realized that I wasn't even dreaming big enough. And then it opened up something for you.
Yeah.
I see that often with people. And what made me able to dream really big and then manifest really big is simply that I assumed it would come true. So see, the more manifestations I had, the more I would tend to believe that I can manifest. And therefore, I would dare to dream bigger and dare to believe more, and then it would occur even more. So belief has a huge part in this. And that's usually a missing factor for people in creating the reality they want. They could say, oh, I've been visualizing the partner of my dreams, for example, right? I've been meditating. Like, what's missing? Why isn't it happening? But what they're not noticing is that a part of them is either impatient, right? It's like, oh, why it hasn't happened yet?
That's so
mean. What hasn't? Where is it? I've been doing the work. What's going on? So part is impatient, and then there could be a part that's measuring, like, why has it been easy for me to manifest here, but not here, right? Like, I'm succeeding in business, but I'm not succeeding financially. I'm succeeding financially, but I'm not succeeding romantically. Like, they do the measurements and comparison. And the truth of it is that all of those little things that we're taking measure with or being impatient about, that is lack, right? That is lack. That's where you aren't manifesting. And the more you emphasize that, the more you attract that, right? There's a law of attraction that happens in manifestation without teaching the whole idea of it. But what you focus on, you create more of. So people are focusing on why hasn't it happened yet, hence focusing on it not happening. And therefore manifesting more of that. So there's some simple principles behind it. And I've really fallen in love with them. And so just to kind of wrap up your original question, what I'm
Hold on,
doing today.
really quick. I want to
Yeah.
actually ask you something based off of what you just said.
Okay.
So based off of what you just said about the importance of belief. So what would you tell somebody to do or not do, in other words, if they're really struggling to believe in a certain possibility? Like, I mean, I'm just curious, what would come up for you there?
Well, there's different. Let me think if I have like a process for you, but this is a big one, right? Because
Mhm.
if people could take anything out of this experience, our interview here, I would love for it to be to dream bigger and or to start by noticing where you're not. And
Huh.
so,
Noticing where you're not. What do you mean?
yeah, where you're not dreaming big enough. So,
Okay,
so
okay, got you. Okay.
it starts with that, right? It starts with really challenging yourself and seeing where you're feeling limited. And I'm going to give you an example. Um, I have I have I've created a process to manifest. It's called 7 steps to manifest anything. And in checking out these steps, right? I thought to myself, what does it really take to start from nothing and end up with something that you want?
Okay. Okay. Do you
And we
mind
won't go through all of
sharing?
that because
Okay, great, great.
that's like a whole I do a workshop around it, but I'm happy to whoever is out here, I'm happy to give them my 7 steps to manifest anything
Yes, I would
free
love that.
masterclass. Yeah, I would have be happy to do that. Um, but what I will tell you is about step 1 because it's super interesting. I've noticed that many mentors teach that step 1 to manifest is asking. They say, ask for what you want. You have to ask.
Okay.
And there's a lot of truth to this, right? Because when you think about it, the majority of people, even if they're confident, they say they know what they want and all this stuff. If you ask them, okay, cool. So in this area of your life, what exactly are you going to have a year from now? There are going to be a lot of people who aren't 100% sure. And it's wild, right? Because like we think we're
Very true. Very
certain
true.
that we're asking for what we want, but we really aren't. We aren't being really clear about asking. So a lot of manifestation, mentors and in various ways are saying ask and ask clearly, and then the universe will listen. However, I noticed a little gap here, and as I started working with clients on asking first, I realized that some people weren't asking from the right place. And this happened to me with a specific client. Okay. Because we got on a call. It was called a clarity, vision and purpose clarity call. And we were looking at his visions and his purpose in life. And we were mapping up action steps to take after the call. Everything was super powerful. And one of the steps, one of the actions he put down for himself was, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. Have you ever had that where you're like, oh, I'm going to like
Oh
wake up
yeah.
super
Got
early?
my new
Okay,
morning
cool.
routine. Heck yes. Yep. Oh
Yes.
yes.
Like I bet a lot of entrepreneurs listening to it have had that experience. And for some
Oh
it
yeah.
works and for some it doesn't.
Yeah, it did
But
it for me. I quickly
okay.
realized, okay, I'm gonna wake up at 7 a.m. now.
Okay. So exactly. So he ended the call like really, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. But here's the deal. He's tried this before. In fact, he even had like on his schedule, he had a bunch of like reminders for a really long time and he started ignoring them. And here we were like refining it and changing color on his calendar. I ended the call with him and I had this like crazy download. When I say download, it's like those moments where you just know something and you don't know where it came from. So I had a crazy download and it clearly said to me, Yahli, you got to call this guy and you got to cancel his 5 a.m. wake up calls. His decision to do that was not coming from the right place. It was not coming because he wanted to wake up at 5 a.m. He wanted to fix something or compensate for something. that he thought had to be better
Ah.
about himself. And he thought that 5 a.m. like model of a human was going to compensate or make it better. But what we're not noticing when we're asking for something and we're asking it from a place of compensation or fixing is that there's a lot of resistance that lives within that. And what did we
Wow.
say before? What we focus on, we create more of. So you put that resistance in, and now you're going to manifest the opposite of what you want. And he would have gotten proof to why he's failing, why it's not working out. Because the truth is he was not aligned with the thing he's asking for. He was asking from, I need to fix this. So many times people think they know what they want. They tell me, I want this relationship, but they don't actually feel ready for the type of person they're asking for. Or they don't, or they're asking because they're incomplete. They're like, it's like not good enough on my own. So I need a partner.
Wow. Okay.
Or they want a certain amount of money and they're not asking for it because they're so compelled by what they can create from this amount of money. And that's attraction, right?
God.
They want the money to compensate because they don't feel good enough without it. They feel like I'm a failure. Like people are judging me. I'm not as good as the other person and so on. They need it for certain reasons to compensate. And it's that compensation energy. It's that fixing energy that they're bringing into the plate. So if step one was asking and you're asking from that place, you're not going to manifest. And it changed everything for my clients and my work once I switched that step one out.
Wow. Okay. Now I'm realizing, well, some shit has not worked out for me because I've never thought about that asking from the right place. So if we're asking from that fixed compensation energy, we're gonna get more of that, right? Because we're asking from the idea that there's something broken, that there's something wrong, so that energy is with it. So in other words, what you're saying is asking from a place with all needs being met. Like, is that kind of what you're
So
saying?
I'll explain what the solution
Yes,
is. I'll explain because you were asking too about like not dreaming big enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes the thing is you're not dreaming big enough, and sometimes it's that you don't really believe you can manifest bigger. So you want to dream bigger, but you feel that resistant energy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you're going to say, I'm going to make $1 million this year, one person can say that with total confidence and ease, and another person can say that and not truly like feel that it's real for them, right? And that's that compensation. There's something out of alignment, and so it's not going to draw it in because it's not aligned. And so what do you do?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you do? What the heck do you do? Well, so the real step one is accept and love where you are. Because that is a source of alignment first. And when you truly can accept where you are on that topic that you're about to manifest and ask for, then where you're asking from can be an enhancement, an attraction, something more, something bigger, something better that you're excited towards and you're juiced up about. That we have juice meters and stuff in my work. If you'll want, by the end of this, I'll tell you about a special program that I did Cyber Monday on, and for anyone in your audience, I'll offer still the Cyber Monday deal. And that's a program called Living in Your Future, and you get really crystal clear on these visions that you want to manifest in your life. And this was part of the work, right? Is really understanding how to accept and align with what you want. I'm going to explain this even more. I'm just going to go a little more crystal clear here. Okay.
I'm just like so interested. I'm like so interested in this. So keep going.
Great. It's fun. It's amazing. This is like Play-Doh of life to me, right? It's like
the Play-Doh of life.
Just like, what if you could just mold everything and just understand how it works and which colors you want, and it's just like creating your own reality. To me, it's like the funnest work you could ever like conjure. And so I'm gonna refine this a little bit, and I wanted to emphasize what did I want to emphasize? That vibrations. Okay. I hope if you're listening that you agree and like write a 1, I don't know, in the chat.
Yeah, yeah.
Write a 1 in the chat if you agree that we're vibrational beings, that is like actual a fact. There are vibrations and frequencies, and that's a part of, life communication, right? We're beings of matter, and I assume you agree that there's vibrational frequencies and we respond to them. There's proof for that.
Yeah.
And so understanding that you and what you want are on certain vibrational frequencies. Everything is on a vibrational frequency. So if you understand that and you want something, whether it's that relationship or that amount of money or that, business success or whatever it is, health, right? Those are the main primary things that people aim for. So the thing you want is on a certain vibration. In order for you to manifest it in physical reality, you have to line yourself up with that frequency, and then it shows up. Now, taking yourself, I wanted to explain this and refine it so that you'd understand why we're accepting and loving where we're at, why we're doing that in step 1, acceptance. And the reason is, if what we're looking at, the thing we want, is on a different frequency, and we feel the gap in between us and that gap is the compensation, the not enough, the when is it going to happen, the disbelief, the I'm not good enough for it, all of those things, that's the misalignment. So no matter how strong you're going to dream, how many meditations you're going to do, how much you're going to beg, it can help you to get to that frequency. But what you really want to understand is that frequency won't come without you first looking at your current circumstances in that area and facing them from a place of loving what is.
Wow, that's really in alignment with have you heard of shadow work? I'm sure you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really in alignment there. It's like this concept of like attracting certain things. It's more like, can you become aware of the things, like can you accept where you're currently at? In other words, can you make more space for things for things to come your way? And it's really interesting because I've been doing a lot of shadow work recently, addressing parts of myself that I do hide and I have been hiding. And there are those aspects of myself that I'm not afraid to admit, but there was a genuine part of myself, because I kept dealing with these like financial, like big ups and then a immediate down, big up and immediate down. And it was like, why the fuck does that keep happening?
Yeah.
But I realized that there was a genuine part of myself that really felt incapable of making money, that really did not believe I can do it. And I ignored that part of myself though, and just thought that if I visualize enough, if I focus on this enough,
I'll compensate for it.
Yes,
right? I'll override
exactly.
it. Yeah.
And the moment I've like addressed that part of myself and like, yo, you're here. I know this is a real thought. It's totally fine. That big opportunity opened up for us this week, and like it's insane. So I'm just like seeing the connections in between a lot of the conversations I'm having. So this is really interesting. But,
amazing. I'm
gonna
gonna add one more thing to this. So
okay,
some people listening might be like, and you maybe too, might be like, okay, so that's a line that might be a lot of work for me to accept and love where I am. And so if you guys actually think that I'm one of those people who's like, okay, let's do the long ass work first until we can ask for what we want, that's actually not my approach. There are amazing people who go and do that. Like you can go into the shadow work, you can go into that. And I love like co-working, co-creating with other people.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm a like instant manifestation girl.
Okay.
So I like to say things are actually simpler than we make them.
Okay,
And
challenge me. Let's go.
and you'll know internally what's wrong, right for you. So I really believe that
Ah,
people intuitively are going to be like, you know what, this requires some more time and depth for me in this area of my life. Let me go do that work. And so if you get that intuitive hit, I can recommend a million places. But if you're like, you know what, this isn't like a huge gap between me and the money I want. Like there's not like, I don't think I have to do like ayahuasca in the in the whatever just to like make more money right now. I just need something to click, right? There is a way to do that. And the way to do that is actually not necessarily work on the thing you think you want to work on. And so in that program that I was giving you an example of, that I'll offer at the end of this, part of what clients going through it realize is that by default, if you ask them straight away, it's like, what are your 3 goals this year? What do you want to accomplish? They'd be like, I want to be more fit, right? Like, you know, I want to like lose 10 pounds. And then the second thing is, you know, I want to make like 100K extra. I want to, you know, find the love of my life.
like
I know
me.
it's like, you're like, how'd you know all my stuff?
How'd you know? God damn it.
How'd you know? So here's the thing though. How many people who want to lose 10 pounds and I know you've got a large following that, you know, fitness is their life. And so it might actually be easier for them, but let's look at the average Joe that wants to lose 10 pounds. For some of them, that's just major compensation. They just don't feel enough with the pounds that are on them. Their ambition is not to be like, you know, a fitness guru or whatever. They just want that. They want to lose the 10 pounds because
like just feeling better.
They don't feel enough the way they are. And if that is the case, and it isn't for everyone, but if that is the case, what is it they really want? Is it to lose 10 pounds? Or was it to feel absolutely amazing in their body? Or is it to feel like they're worthy of what they want? So we start peeling those layers off and we realize that actually it could work. It's like reverse engineering. Because what if them finding ways to feel amazing in their body every day suddenly clicked acceptance in the way they are?
Oh, okay.
And automatically their body would start shedding those pounds too as a byproduct.
Yeah.
But the goal is no longer the 10 pounds, because when it comes from that compensation, the efforting a lot of times makes people fail. And then next year they want to lose the same 10 pounds and it never ends. Every year it's those 10 pounds, damn it. And people don't understand why they're never gone. And so the reason is you're asking for the wrong thing. The thing you really want is that confidence, or to be attracting the woman of your dreams, or to like, so we start recognizing what are the things you really want. And sometimes they're not typically the things you thought they were. So you wanted that woman of your dreams, but maybe what you really wanted first is internally to feel like you're the freaking man of your own dreams and of every other woman's dreams. And when you can align that, you'll automatically attract the woman of your dreams.
So in other words, reverse engineering and feeling it first is what you're saying, because it's like everything we're chasing is a feeling, right?
Exactly. So first of all, it's recognizing what you actually really want and what you're juiced up to create, because you're not juiced up about the 10 pounds because it feels like you have to do that.
Yeah.
But to feel amazing in your body, and we find different ways you can do that every morning, like that you could be juiced up about. I would just want to feel amazing in my body and feel like a powerhouse. And that the juice meter, right? That's where it comes in. And I'm like, okay, so how juiced up are you about this goal? How, like, what if I woke you up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m., how much would you want to get out of bed and run and do it? And to go and like lift weights just to lose the 10 pounds is not that exciting, but to go and do that for a different purpose that juices you, totally different situation. So first we're gonna we recognize what it is you truly want. Then that's a faster way to align you with the vibration and frequency of what you want. So now you don't have to do all that mushy work because you're just asking for the wrong thing. When you ask for the right thing, it's a lot easier to accept where you are. And then you're ready to ask for what you want. Now, how you ask for what you want relates to what you just said. How you ask for what you want is a feeling-based outcome versus a task-based goal. We're so used to in life. Hold on, let me pause. Breathe that in for a second. Feeling-based outcome versus a task-based goal. And I'll explain what I mean. We're so used to like tasks. Now,
Yeah, I'm thinking
Adrian,
of like all the goals I set.
do you have task lists?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I live by my Google Calendar, so every day there's something there.
Have you ever made a checklist of like tasks?
Before I use Google Calendar, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in those days, have you ever not completed the whole list of tasks?
Oh yeah.
Often, right? Yeah, more often than not.
Uh-huh. Still
okay,
to this day, it happens.
Here's something wild, okay? We live life setting ourselves up for failure. Like, how popular is it to do task lists? Like, huge. Most people in the world, most of you listening have like worked with tasks before.
Especially in entrepreneurship, it's like we take pride in having agendas and having these to-do lists, right? Exactly.
Now, I'm not against to-do lists, but doing them the right way completely rewires your success in life and how you feel about yourself and what is possible for you.
Okay.
And this is like a level deeper, right? But this is something we work on too, and that's in my program as well. But the idea is if we're putting a list of tasks and every day we're likely to not finish that list, and then some things get pushed, and so we're always getting evidence for failure. We're always getting evidence of I'm not succeeding, I can't do it all, and we're dragging that feeling along all year. And then you wonder why you can't dream big and believe that you can make it all happen. And I just think that mindset is ridiculous because tasks just aren't pivotal. They're not pivotal. So like, for example, if on my task list today was going to be go visit a friend after this to say happy birthday, and, things came in the way. We went a little longer on this interview and I couldn't make it. I now failed, right? Just giving a random example.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I had something on the list. I had to call somebody, didn't call it, failed. Like, I can drag it to tomorrow, but it's either you do it or you don't do it. Win, lose. And black or white. And you never want to work black or white because life is never black or white, and you can never expect things to go a certain way. There's always going to be reasons to pivot. So what if you could make that expectancy, like what if you could create what you want to create and accomplish based on knowing that life is going to throw things at you and things are going to change and be pivotal, and make sure that you can succeed. And so feeling-based outcomes is a whole other matter, because there's a reason why you want to accomplish something. There's a reason why I want to go visit that friend that I put on the task list. It could be to make her feel special and loved today. Now, if that's a feeling-based outcome that I would have today on my list. Now, do you agree with me that one of the ways could be that I go over there and say happy birthday? It's one of the ways that I accomplished that. But if our interview went long and I can't make it, is there another way that I could make her feel loved and special today?
Wow. I can see where this is going. This is amazing.
There's probably a 5-minute way that I could still make that outcome happen and win. And when you start planning your life this way and your days this way, especially as entrepreneurs who need to make things happen all the time, when you start running things for your team that way, think about how empowering it is for a team member in your business to, rather than think they need to like check off. And by the way, there's specific roles and people like VAs or whatever that need SOPs with lists. So
Of
just put
course.
that aside for a second. But as a whole, even above that list, if they understood the three main feeling based outcomes for today, like we need to make major progress with this, we want to make sure that our partners feel that way, that our clients feel successful, that we feel responsible, that is, think
Holy
of
shit.
how much of their genius you're now enhancing. I don't know if you read this book, but amazing book for entrepreneurs called Multipliers, how you can make your team smarter.
Oh, you said multipliers?
Yeah.
Okay.
You literally make your team members smarter by giving them a more general like outcome and allowing them to now come up with ways and solutions to do that. One of the ways can be the way that you recommend. But if they can't make it for whatever reason, now watch them come up with other solutions and figure it out. And you could say to them, as long as this outcome is met, I'm okay. And I say that to my team all the time, and they feel like leaders in the business. They feel like leaders of an initiative and a feeling that they
Yeah.
get to carry through, and they know their own outcomes and their own feelings. And it changes the whole game of what it feels like to work together and accomplish things. So I know we went really zoomed in, but
I'm
I
saying
wanted
that
you
is
to,
perfect. This is amazing.
I wanted you to get a picture of where this all leads to. It leads to embodying every single day. Remember how I said it's not just the woo woo, right? You're going to use meditation, visualization to strengthen those pieces of you. But how can your everyday look like the version of you that you're becoming? Because when you start winning your outcomes every day and winning the feelings you're after, that's where manifestation stems from, is feelings. For example, you want that $1 million this year? What is it going to feel like to have that? Because if you can embody that feeling on your day to day right now, what you want is coming. But you got to feel it first. And that's what visualizations and meditations are for, is to feel. But practice it in your day to day, also in your calendar, your schedule, and all those things. I teach people to go future shopping, which is really fun. Like people are like, oh, one day I'll have a private plane. I'm like, there's a million things you're going to do before you get that private plane. Like you're going to look up which plane and what they cost and what the gas is going to be like. And
Okay. I've done that with homes. I've done that with homes.
right. Like maybe you
Yeah.
want to co-own it with someone. Like you could do all that stuff right now. Nothing's like, you don't have to wait until you have a certain budget to be able to start future shopping. So I've called private jet companies. I've had full on conversations. I'm like, until it comes down to like swiping my credit card, I won't stop. And so if you want, I'll give you a little manifestation story to like lock all this in for
I was just
people.
about to say, before we end this, I need to hear one of your stories. I mean, I want one of
Okay.
I want them to hear it. So, and if we don't have enough time for all the 7 steps, great. They're all going to have access to that either way. I'll make sure that they do, but go ahead.
Amazing. I love that this all like stemmed from the introduction. I didn't even tell people what I do today,
I
but
know.
it's cool.
Honestly, it's going
They'll
really
find out.
good. Yeah, they will. But I just want to say, like, I've always, like, just really quickly, I've always felt like, I mean, like, I know this stuff, like I've studied this stuff. This is Esther Hicks was actually like the work that got me started in all of this, right?
I was on stage with Abraham Hicks 3 times.
Oh my God. See, look at this. I mean, she manifested that shit. I know. But you know how Michael Chu says, like you hear something multiple times, but it takes one time to feel it. And I felt like for the first time, like I really get this, especially this whole feeling based outcomes. That is okay. I want to ask you a question about that, but okay, never mind. We'll hold on to that. But go ahead and share your story.
Okay. I mean, I've got an infinite amount of stories. And for those of you guys who are going to either take my course or take me up on the freebie that I offered here, you'll hear a lot more. So I try to integrate them into everything.
Okay.
But one that just came up for me right now when I said about the private jet, and I said, until I have to swipe my credit card, I won't stop. It just brought me a little example. And this one, I think, will connect a lot of the various different pieces we were talking about today. And it's going to make it really tangible for you guys. I love demystifying manifestation,
Yes.
making
Yes.
it super tangible. To me, like consistency and tangibility, that's the name of the game. People,
Mm.
that's what they really seek. Like they can believe this stuff
Yeah.
and listen to a podcast and a thing and get inspired, and it's like the momentum is great, and then what they really want is they want tangibility and consistency. And so I vouch for those things and make everything that way. So here's a real live example. This was back in 2015. You guys, Tony Robbins is one of the mentors I really love. And if you've ever been to a Tony Robbins event, give us some like love on the chat so we
Yeah,
know.
one of my clients, they're doing their virtual event now. I don't know what he's doing. I think it's doing something right now, but one of my clients is doing the virtual event.
Yeah. He has a Date with Destiny going on right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And she just got back from UPW, the one in person.
Right.
She was like, holy fuck, Adrian.
Yeah. And Date with Destiny is half in person, half virtual right now.
Oh, okay.
Like I've been to 12 Tony events and some private ones I've gotten invited to. Actually got a private screening of his film when it came out with him and his wife and his people. Wow. Yeah, I have a lot of manifestation stories around Tony. He's been a really big catalyst in my life. But let's zoom into one amazing instance. So this was again 2015 or 2016, somewhere there. This was my second Tony Robbins event. So just to give you guys context, I was not like born into this world like of personal development and all this stuff. I was just a girl from Israel with big dreams. So I've never like gotten even a chance at first to like attend these events because they were always happening in America. It was like this far away place. But again, without going into my full story, I've gone to my first Tony Robbins event. Amazing things happened. I started my online community back then. It grew and started thriving. I was hosting a morning show every morning, and I got to attend my second Tony event. And I'm there in the audience. And if you can imagine, there's like 10,000 people there. And this one, I believe, was in Chicago. And it was like just unbelievable. The feeling, the people, the excitement. And I've already been to one Tony event and I knew I wanted to like have more of these experiences. So I would use the highs. Like if you guys understand like what I just said about vibration, you know that like any time in life that I'm feeling like I'm really like high on this high energy, I like to visualize what I want because I believe it's like a lot, the road to manifestation is a lot closer when you're feeling that way about things, right? Your belief about them, everything. So every time there was this high at the event, everybody would cheer. I would like close my eyes and I'd be like, what do I want? Because I just believe in it 100%. So there I was in the audience and it's one of the first days and I'm like feeling amazing. It was UPW. And I close my eyes and I'm like, Yahli, what do you want? And I see myself at not only more of these Tony events, but I want to go to like the high end ones, right? Like back then, like I didn't really make all that much money yet. Like even going there was a stretch, but I knew he had these other courses for 10, 15, 20K. And those were like for someone from Israel, that was a lot of money back then. I was like, whoa, like I can't like invest that much in a course, but I wanted it. Right. So I was there and I'm like watching myself and I just visualize in that event myself in those like higher end events, Date with Destiny, Business Mastery, all these other ones. And I also see myself sitting in the front row center which by the way is reserved for like platinum partners that pay $150K a year.
God.
Yeah. But I'm there in my vision. I'm there and there's no restriction, right? I'm on this high. And so we sit back down and it's so alive within me. I feel so real about what I just saw. So I'm asking myself in my head while the conference is continuing, I'm asking myself, okay, what can I do to take the first step there? I teach my clients about imperfect action. I'm like, what can you do that you're not? People think like, I can't buy that private jet. I'm like, okay, but can you research which one? Right. Like,
okay.
So like, what is a step I could take in that direction? And I realized they were going to pitch some of the higher end events later. So I decided, you know what, when they pitch it and there's a desk to go sign up, I should get up off my chair and go sign up. Now I knew I don't have the money for it. Like it's not in my account. So how many of you guys, if you wanted to go sign up for the next event and you knew you didn't have the money in your funds, how many of you would get up off your chair? And this is like a real moment for you with yourself to ask yourself that, like, would you even get up?
If I can be honest, I would say no.
Okay.
I would.
And this is where I was saying like the dream bigger, that you got to catch yourself where you're not. Because if it's showing up in your world, it's for you. There's nobody else seeing what you're seeing or experiencing what you're experiencing. There's a reason why this looks attractive to you. So don't ignore that and put it aside as if you're a bystander of life. If you see it and it's signaling you that you need it or want it, it's for you. There's something there for you to discover. You don't have to necessarily do it or accept, but on the road of discovery of what that is, you're going to get where you want to go. Yes. So stop ignoring life's like hints. So if I'm so passionate about wanting this next thing, me sitting in my chair and telling myself I can't get up to sign up just because I don't have the funds, that's me stopping myself. Nobody else told me no. My bank account doesn't have the funds, but like,
did it say no? Like
nobody said don't get up off your chair. Nobody said don't go on to the registration table. Nobody said don't give us your credit card. Nobody said no except for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stop myself. So until they decline, and I know it will decline, but until it declines, I'm not going to be the one stopping myself. So let them say no. Let me get up off my chair. So I do.
Oh my God.
They have the pitch. Ready for this? They have the pitch. They're pitching, I think it was Business Mastery. And I get up off my chair. It was like a $15,000 course, but they were giving it for $10K. And again, I probably had $2K in my account that day.
Okay.
So, and I wasn't going to put like that as a deposit. Like that's all I had. So I got up off my chair with confidence, with excitement, with seeing myself sitting there. And I get in line. There's a huge line for the registration. Now, this is not even the manifestation, Adrian, but on that line, the people I met changed my life. Because think about it. Who are the people who stand in line to sign up? They're in alignment with the stuff that I want. Well, I happened to manifest one of the people there was actually someone who ended up partnering with me in my business, investing $50K, and we traveled together for the next 6 months, changed my life. But that wasn't even the manifestation. So just getting up,
that was just a bonus. That was just a bonus.
Just shows you, like, if I didn't get up off my chair, that would not have happened. So there's a reason why I was compelled to get up off my chair. And there was a reason why I was compelled to sign up for this higher level course, even if it's not for the higher level course. But I would have stopped myself if I was like everyone else, right? So here I am in this line. And I'm talking to amazing people and networking and, you know, the line's getting thinner and it's almost my turn, and it finally gets to my turn. And again, I'm holding this credit card. I fill out the form and all of the things, knowing that I don't have the funds, but not stopping myself. And I finally hand it to them and they're like, we're so sorry. we're going back, like the break is over. We're going back in, but you can come back right after the break. We'll bring you in first. I was like a little bit like bummed, but I was like, okay, cool. Super proud of myself that I got up there. It was great to be in line and planning to come back on the next break, right? To continue this process.
So you were still ready. Okay.
Still ready. They stopped me, but they didn't say don't do it. They said come back later. Okay. So I get back in. And the event continues. And whoever's been in a Tony Robbins event, like at some point, like you get up and you dance and you rock and roll and you're jumping up and down. So we had one of those moments and we're jumping, we're like full on. And someone recognized me because, again, I had my morning show then and my 20,000 person community online. I don't think it was 20,000 then. It was probably in the thousands, but people from Tony Robbins recognized me. So one person comes up to me, oh my God, you're Yahli. I listened to your show. And he gives me a hug, like while we're all jumping up and down. I'm used to it. Like it would happen. And so just having fun. And we continue to rock a little bit, rock out. And he comes back 5 minutes later. And we're still there, still event, 10,000 people jumping up and down, having fun with Tony. And he's like, hey, can you come with me for a second? And I'm like super confused. Like, what does he want? We're in the middle of the event. He's like, come with me. I thought maybe he wants to introduce me to his family or something. I'm like, okay. So he's pulling my hand and pulling me through the audience. And again, 10,000 people
in the middle of the event. So the event was happening.
It's all around. Everyone's jumping, music, everything. And he's like pulling me through towards like the bathroom hallway. And we're going there. And I'm just like trusting. I'm like, whatever. I've been to this event before. I don't feel like I'm going to miss out on too long. And we go out and he takes me completely out to the hallway, to the corridor where like all the booths are on the breaks. But now it's pretty much empty. There's just some representatives from the company there. And there's like this big black couch, leather couch on the side. And he's like, sit here just 1 minute. I'll be right back. Like,
you're right. Okay. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But I trust him. Tony Robbins, fellow person, knows me. So I'm like, okay. So I sit down on that couch and he goes and he walks towards like this representative that works for Tony, one of the booths there. And they're talking a little bit. And I'm just sitting there waiting. And at some point, the woman in the booth like signals me. She's like, hey, come here. And so I get up off my chair and I go to her and she says, you're Yahli? I'm like, yes. She says, okay, so I just need to ask you a question here. So where would you like to do your life and wealth mastery programs, in Fiji or in Florida? And I look at her like what did you just say? And she's like, so out of the Master University programs that your friend here just bought you, where would you like to do life and wealth mastery, in Fiji or in Florida? And I look at her and I look at him and he reassures me and he says, listen, I've been listening to your show and what you do, and I've been so inspired by you. And I thought of like finding a way to contribute or invest. And I realized the best way is to invest in you. And I know you like Tony Robbins, so I was hoping you'd receive this as a gift. And it's a $25,000 package of Tony events for the next 6 months. His highest level ones, like the Business Mastery, Date with Destiny, Life and Wealth Mastery, all included. And I'm going to give you a cherry on top. And he bought it for me. Like, who does that? Who buys a $25,000 package?
That's not just like a regular buy. I'm like, dude, that's a lot of money you're putting to somebody.
And I believe with all my might that if I didn't get up and walk up with confidence to say, I'm going to be in these higher level programs and go to that registration booth and like align with the thing I desire. If I didn't match that frequency, that this would not have happened, because it was a moment that changed everything. And I'll give you a cherry on top.
Oh my God.
Give you a cherry on top.
I'm just saying, I got goosebumps without the cherry. I'm just letting you know.
Giving you the cherry though. Where did I visualize myself sitting?
Up front.
Okay, so turns out this guy was a platinum partner. So guess which lanyard I got to wear for the next 6 events in Tony Robbins?
You got to wear the platinum one?
Yes, I was a platinum guest. So I got to sit front row center for the rest of the year in
Oh
all these
my
events
God.
and
That
to
fast.
meet and network with I was sitting in platinum. So literally, this was minutes, right? Half an hour, whatever later after I visualized and saw myself up front in all these higher level things, knowing that I only had 2K in my account. But I took a step there,
Wow.
imperfect action. I believed, I aligned, I synced, and it came through in a way that I could never even imagine. And that's how real manifestation works. It's even better than you could possibly imagine. It's always unexpected and not in a way that you know. That's why people hinder themselves when they try to know how to get somewhere. Let go of knowing, just feel what it will feel like on the other end. That's what I did. And let the universe decide the how. It will figure it out for you, even if it looks impossible. And you could dream as big as you want. It happens every single time. This was just what, like 1% of my
I
manifestation
know. I remember you were
stories.
telling me the ones about the Austin home. That one when me and you were
Oh
skydiving.
yeah, that was another. Yeah, it
Ah,
happens all the time. That's how I live my life in expectancy of it.
wow. Just the amount of courage I feel like it takes to live like that too.
See, it feels like it takes
I
courage,
feel
but
like it takes
it's
courage, but
fun. It's just fun.
I
It's a
like your
game.
energy about it.
It's
Yeah.
like making life a game. And you know what? It may have helped that a long time ago, I almost gave up on life. See, like people don't just like kind of click into this confidence, but I lived a very different reality. I feel like I got another chance of life, but there was a life once that I lived that I just did not like. I did not like. I didn't want to wake up in the morning. I was like self sabotaging. I was in a relationship for 7 years that wasn't taking me where I want to go. I was like overeating, over smoking, over numbing in different ways. And I had to have a moment that felt like decision between life and death, even though I wasn't suicidal. But for me, I realized in that moment that it's not that I had to want to die. It's that I never asked myself if I wanted to live. And that was the
Mm.
first time I realized there's a difference between living and being alive. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. I was just surviving. Like, if I could choose what living meant, what would I make that? And then I chose, I want to make every day count and take everyone along with me. And that made me want to play life in this way. So now I like,
Mm.
if it's not going to ignite me, then why am I even here? Like, so it doesn't take courage. It takes desire to make this life count and understand that you're the painter of the canvas and you could paint anything.
Mm. You just, I'm just, to be honest, I mean, I feel like every time we connect, I get so freaking inspired. And honestly,
Thank you.
I feel like time is just not our best friend.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have you back on here because
Thank you.
like this has been an amazing thing. Now, I know we didn't dive deep into what you do and stuff like that, but I know you're up to some cool things. So if you don't mind just elaborating briefly, what are you excited about right now?
Oh, I'm so excited. So as you guys know, I've been coaching and I've been more of a manifestation coach over the last few years. And I have programs and things and offers I can give you guys around that. But what I'm mainly excited about is what my new platform is going to be. So I'm the proud owner of manifestors.com. And right now it has some of my programs and courses on it. But what it's turning to be, which by the way, like I can't dream small. I can't just want to
I
create
know.
something
I feel
around
like you just
myself.
won't allow yourself to dream small.
I'm like, if it's not going to empower humanity as a whole,
Yes.
it's not enough. So I'm turning manifestors.com into a platform to uplift humanity. It's a multi coach, multi facilitator platform. We're going to have some of the world's best minds come together on that platform and empower millions of people around the world. And that's like the biggest hint I can give for 2022 and what's coming then. But it's going to be massive and beautiful. And right now, because there's a new year coming, where we're at, this is an amazing point in time for people to really get crystal clear on what it is they want, on the visions, on understanding how to manage their calendar, their team, their selves better. So I was looking at what can I do between now where I'm, coaching my own clients, and then when I have this platform where I'm co-creating with other incredible mentors. And what I want to do is I want to take people on the ride to being able to do what I'm doing, right?
Okay.
To dream bigger, to get clear on their visions, to really be prepared for 2022 to be that year where they manifest at their highest. And so, so part of what I'm offering is my course, Living in Your Future, which literally lets you in like 14 modules over 14 days feel like you're that.
You just sent, is that the link you sent me earlier?
Yeah. Drop the link for people. Cause what's wild is it's 70% off for Cyber Monday. And you guys like, just grab it. It's a ridiculous price. It's not even it for what you get inside. It's ridiculous, but and
I just dropped that link now, so you'll see that in the comments. And if you're listening to the podcast, just check the show notes and check out that link.
Yeah, absolutely. And just feel free to DM me too if you're a part of Adrian's people. So you're my people too. So if you have a specific question relating to what we spoke about here, or if you want me to send you a free resource first, I've got so many meditations and visualizations and things if you want to feel like you're introduced to first. But I also just wouldn't miss out on the price that I'm offering that program for. Absolutely. It's one of those programs that's going to be pivotal for the way that you attract things into your life. And it's meant to work with your current life, with your current reality in a really great way. So
even if you have a slight desire to get that, get it. All right. Don't ignore what's showing up in your world. Do not ignore what's showing up in your world.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. So they can get in direct contact with you through Facebook, and you guys, I'll put her name, put her links, all that stuff below. Now, I know you said that there's also a masterclass that you have that people can go through. That's a free offer, correct?
Yeah, just DM me. I'll send it to you. So my name is Yahli Rashi. You can see it here.
Yeah, they can see it here, and I'll make sure. And even if you can just after this, you can also DM me that link, or if you have a link for it, I'm not sure, but if you do, just let me know.
I'll have to create a link for that. Okay. The specific masterclass I was talking about, I have to create a link for.
Okay. Well, however way, guys, just reach out to Yahli or check the show notes. There may potentially be a link there. But last two questions I have for you, Yahli, is number one. Well, real quick, I know we're over time, but really fast. Whenever you do the feeling-based outcomes, how does that actually look in your calendar, if you don't mind me asking, or in your structure, in your schedule? Like, you put we'd have to zoom out a little bit because there's a process that leads to that process, and it depends how much you want to zoom out. So here's how I do it. I'll tell you how I do it, and then you can choose one of the steps on the way. But how I do it is, first of all, I come up with my kind of life plan. So I know my life outcomes, like what do I want overall in general, and I get clear on those visions, and I call them the ultimate visions, right? What are my ultimate visions? And I do that for every area of my life, but with people in the course, to make it easier, they just choose 3 areas of your life and focus on that. And then now that I have my life ultimate visions, now I'm really clear on that what I do in the day-to-day right now should lead me there. Do you agree with me? Mm-hmm.
Now, how many times, tell me the truth here. When you're running your schedule right now, do you ask yourself, is this getting me to my ultimate
Yeah,
vision?
there's times where like I'll even look at it and I'm like, this does not feel like what I should be doing right now.
Exactly. So I think everything should be connected and bring us there. So, and again, not in a tasky way,
Okay.
in an outcome way. The way we feel by doing this thing that maybe is not connected is going to catapult us to have the confidence we need to get to our ultimate vision.
Okay.
So whatever it is, like we can connect it to that. So I do my life vision first, and then every month there could be, or every quarter, it depends on you, there could be another feeling based visions that you do for that month or for that quarter. And then you zoom in, and every week you just dedicate a little bit of time on Sunday to come up with your outcomes for that week, right?
In terms of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Feeling based outcomes for the week. But it's easier because you have your monthly. So this is an extraction of that, right? It's like a reverse engineering. So you don't have to do it all at once. You do your life vision once every beginning of the year, and then you go in and zoom in every quarter or every month. And then you have a process every week for an hour, and you look at your schedule and you realize what are these outcomes that are most important. It's great for your team meetings and things as well for work.
Yeah.
And then in order to find out the way to accomplish them for the week or for the day, you can do this daily. I have a process called the target exercise. And the target exercise are like 3 bubbles. My clients and I renamed it Jubbles because it's juice bubbles. Bubbles that juice you up towards what you want to create. But really it's like a target, right? So it's 3 circles, one inside the other. The target where your brain is focused, and it's been statistically proven that like the number 3 is a really good focus number. So we have 3 bubbles, and that your brain works in targets. So in the very middle, it's a real thing. So you draw that circle and you put your outcome in there, one of the outcomes for this week. Okay. Feeling based outcomes. So what is that feeling based outcome? And then the circle around it, you write, it's kind of like your why. So this is your juice. Why do you want to do it? Or why must you not, like this is the pain and pleasure that you associate with that, so that you're juiced up to get it.
Okay.
So if your outcome is, again, give me an example in your life. What's one of the outcomes you might have this week?
In terms of
or this month.
In terms of feeling based or outcome based?
It's the same. So a feeling based outcome. What's doesn't matter. Say it. Be imperfect.
Feeling based outcome is feeling really safe and secure with business growth.
Okay, cool. And
I do have a revenue goal of $500,000 next year. That is
right. So let's say feeling safe and secure. And is the safety and security really the thing you want, or do you want to also feel like let's just make sure that's the right one? Is it safety and security, or is it something even above that?
I want to fully express myself without worrying about anything. Okay.
So feeling fully expressed.
Yes.
And unlimited financially, right?
Yes.
Amazing. So that's one of your feeling based outcomes. So we put that in the middle. And now what's the juice? Why?
Well, with that income, I'm going to be able to scale the amount of impact.
Amazing. So this is what you put in the second circle, stuff like, because I'm going to scale the amount of impact, because, and there are also things that are like negatives. For example, like I'll no longer have to worry or feel restricted.
I see what you're talking about. Okay.
So positives and negatives of all those things. Why do you need this? Because anytime you're going to look back and you're doing your day to day and you need to find that juice again. Wait, why was I doing this again? Oh, okay. Here's 10 reasons why. That's your fuel. And now the third circle outwards,
Okay.
these are all of the ways. Remember, it's pivotal. So there's not just one task. What are all of the ways? And you don't have to write all of them, but at least give a good amount of ways that you can get there. These are like the action plans. Now, you're only going to put one or two of those on your actual calendar. But then if something comes in the way, if something changes, you go back to that target and you look at, oh, okay, we can do this instead. So that's your plan. And your schedule is just a part of the execution of that plan. And so on that outer bubble, you're writing out, okay, what are one of the things you can do? Sell a certain amount of courses, or
right. Yeah, like find a certain amount of JV partners, sell
exactly,
a certain amount of clients. Exactly.
Amazing. So those still are there, but now instead of having your monthly task now be like, okay, we have to get 10 more JV partners. Now you either fail or succeed. Now, instead of that, it's like this month, we have to up level the amount of confidence, security we feel financially and realign with like where we're at. Right. And one of the ways we're going to do that is we're going to reach out to JV partners and get at least 10. Right now, you haven't gotten at least 10, or you're seeing that it's like slower progress than you wanted. Now you add one of the other ways that you can. And by the end of the month, what you ask yourself is not, did we accomplish the 10 JV partners or not? Did we accomplish that next level of security? And you know what you're leaving room for there is that maybe you didn't get 5 JV partners, but what if one of the conversations you had gave you something alternative that is way better and give you way more financial security? And you couldn't have even thought about it because you weren't vibrationally ready. If you actually restricted yourself to that one way, you didn't leave room for the bigger manifestation to occur.
That's why I asked you that question. I was looking for that light bulb and it just fucking went off. Yeah, one of my mentors does say wealth will find you in the most unexpected ways.
Exactly.
If you let it.
And so people aren't leaving room for that to happen. And they're also not expecting it. If all you're expecting is you got to get 10 JV partners, guess what? That's what universe is going to help you either do or not do, depending on how much you believe that you can. And that's all you got. But if you believe that you can get absolute financial security and you imagine yourself every day, and every day in your declarations, you declare that, you feel that in your body, and you imagine that, and you go to work, and then either the JVs click or something else does, but that feeling is going to come through 100%. And everyone that's working with you, how much more juiced up is your team going to be around a goal like, you guys, we're going to manifest so much financial security because for you guys too, through this goal, right?
No shit. It's like a way different
They have a mission now. They're so juiced up and lit up. You're likely to find a lot more JV partners or find more solutions because they're going to start manifesting. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I just talked to this person. And guess what? Like, because they're not going to be in that mind space as if all they think is like, oh gosh, we got to get another JV partner.
Yeah, no, yeah, because I can see how it limits so much creativity, so much possibility of thinking. And wow, damn.
And we live life that way every single day, limiting. And then we're wondering why we're not manifesting at the level that others do.
I feel like this is the missing link of manifestation, and you really did feel that today. So thank you so much. Absolutely. So who do you know? I ask all of my guests this as we close it out. Who do you know that I should know and should definitely bring on to this thing?
Ooh.
I mean, 1 or 2.
Oh my gosh. The list.
I know.
The list. Wow, man. You'd have to tell me your feeling-based outcome and then I'll match the right person, because like, what would be your outcome, let's say for the show, or for the next show, or for the listeners, or you guys listeners, right? What your outcomes are, and we'll find you. Because if there's something I have a lot of is amazing connections.
Yes, I know that, definitely.
So give me whichever one and I'll give you the right person for it.
Okay. What about I basically want my audience to feel like this is the most valuable personal growth podcast. In other words, like I want them to feel like extremely certain that they want to share this with every one of their friends.
Right. And what do they connect with more like the more tangible, the more intangible, the
more intangible, I'd say.
Bring on I actually had someone come through and he is more tangible, but
share it too. Yeah.
Yeah. I would bring on Dan Martell.
Oh, I've heard that name.
Yeah, Dan Martell is an amazing entrepreneur. He currently focuses mainly on coaching SaaS startups, SaaS startup entrepreneurs. But he's a big deal, and he's one of the super connectors and like, incredible people. But how he lives his life and the way that he teaches giving value to people, creating experiences for people, it's phenomenal. So it's who he is and what he represents in your being in the day-to-day as an entrepreneur, and how to be with other people and how to serve and give value to people and where to come from. That's the more intangible that works with how like he's going to make it super tangible. Cause check out Dan Martell regardless. He's great. Yeah. Perfect. He came through. But I'm sure I have more for you.
No, thank you. If any we got phone numbers, just text me. All right.
Okay.
But amazing. So if you had 30 seconds left in the entire universe, what would that last message be? 30 to 60 seconds. All right. And this is it. Right here. What would that be?
Well, I'll just say this, which will take less than 30 seconds. The better it gets, the better it gets. And I'll say that because when I heard that message, and I heard it personally from Abraham Hicks on stage, I was like, the better it gets, the better it gets. And I realized that I've lived my life being afraid to really celebrate the ups and the successes, because I was afraid that if I like enjoy it too much, then something bad's going to happen. I was constricted. I was like, because when it gets really, really good, then there's always going to be a down. Like I was always expecting it to have to equal itself out, not realizing that that's a limiting belief, and that me believing that after every up, there's a down is something I choose to believe.
It's a choice. I'm so happy you said
that. Then I started believing instead that the better it gets, the better it gets. And that started manifesting that even if there are some things that feel like contrasts, like it's a whole other topic we could talk about next time. But if there are things that life throws at me that I don't want and that don't feel good, I'm like, oh, wait, but it only gets better. So I know that's a part of the better. And it's a whole other outlook of moving forward. So the better it gets, the better it gets. It's real. It's true. And I hope you make it right for you as well.
Real quick, guys, I want to go ahead. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. COVID cough. All right. I was going through this when I was getting this podcast ready. I was going through the audio, and this was just way too good not to include on the podcast. It has nothing to do with today's episode. It's just freaking hilarious. This woman, Yahli, is so talented. I thought it would be hilarious to share what me and her were chatting about before the interview started.
And you can hear me well, right, on this?
You sound amazing. Yeah, you sound amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
The United States of America is the fourth largest country in the world after Russia, Canada, and China. Most of the United States is on the continent of North America. The country stretches over 3,000 miles from the Pacific Ocean in the west to the Atlantic Ocean in the east.
You have such a good, whatever kind of voice that is. I feel like
I'll do another one for you.
Yes, go ahead.
Evian natural mineral water originates from the French Alps, one of the most pristine and purest places on earth. It is naturally filtered through the mountains for 15 years, guaranteeing its purity and perfect mineral balance. There's no better way to replenish your body's essence than by drinking Avion every day. Avion, untouched by man, perfect by nature.
So, not only is an amazing manifesting queen, but if you need a voice actress, she's your girl. All right, holla.